Duping delight defines the smirks that female immigrants and their children direct at white people across Western countries. This expression reveals their inner contempt for the stupidity that permits invasion without any meaningful resistance. Duping delight extends far beyond mocking white men's obedience to their wives. It captures the entire range of white naivety that surrenders jobs, welfare, schools, and sovereignty to invaders. Since the migration surge began in 2015, over 5 million individuals from Muslim-majority regions have settled in Europe, while the United States has admitted more than 1 million annually from places like Pakistan and Afghanistan. Immigrant families perceive white societies as assemblies of fools driven by a delusional need to be remembered as good people through meaningless deeds that ultimately invite conquest. Every flash of duping delight underscores how whites confuse aiding invaders with true virtue, even as those invaders position themselves for complete domination. White people pursue a pathological craving to be viewed as liberators. This leads them to donate to overseas causes, sponsor new arrivals, and implement policies that directly subsidize invaders. They convince themselves these actions accomplish genuine good, yet in practice they inflict harm on their own families and nations. Charity once directed to distant lands has now boomeranged into full-scale invasion, with invaders gaining access to free healthcare, housing, and education within white countries. Despite this reversal, whites persist with the same approaches and firmly believe history will honor them as benevolent figures. Invaders interpret this persistence as irrefutable evidence of white idiocy. Duping delight emerges whenever whites celebrate integration while their own neighborhoods evolve into unrecognizable foreign enclaves. Immigrant women and children smirk because whites consistently mistake liberation for surrender. The drive to secure good person status compels whites to make disastrous decisions and support initiatives that provide only fleeting satisfaction within their own echo chambers. Posting online about welcoming migrants garners approval from like-minded individuals, and sponsoring families delivers a temporary sense of achievement. These superficial statements and gestures produce no tangible benefit beyond self-congratulation among equally delusional whites. Invaders reap all the advantages and advance their takeover plans undisturbed. Duping delight surfaces at welfare offices when approvals finance larger invading families, and it appears in schools when regulations prioritize newcomers. Whites imagine they assist the truly needy, but invaders recognize they are conquering the profoundly stupid. Immigrant families pass down duping delight through everyday instruction on white folly. Mothers describe how whites resolved issues abroad, thereby enabling migration purely for conquest. Children absorb the lesson that white charity has transformed into domestic threat. By the age of 6, youngsters wield duping delight on playgrounds and mock white peers over their parents' naivety. Mosque sessions reinforce the idea that whites' obsession with appearing good renders them vulnerable. Entire households unite in celebrating each white concession with shared smirks. This turns duping delight into an institutionalized family tool. Socio-economic advancements consistently provoke duping delight among invaders. They overtake construction and taxi industries, while whites withdraw from these fields without objection and value their virtuous image above all else. Welfare programs, upheld as social justice, finance mosque growth and the indoctrination of thousands of young invaders. Whites praise the outcomes even as invaders consolidate strength. Duping delight reaches its height during benefit distributions and employment gains, affirming that white fixation on virtue clears the path for invader control. In schools and parks, immigrant children bring duping delight into sharp focus. They secure student councils and enforce policies that marginalize whites, all while grinning at those adhering to parental diversity mandates. They levy informal taxes in public spaces, and their smirks reflect lessons that white emphasis on equality facilitates dominance. These displays are far from innocent. They broadcast satisfaction that white devotion to being good guarantees family extermination. Playgrounds serve as practice arenas for future rule, with duping delight marking every small victory. The trajectory toward white erasure proceeds directly from this virtue-chasing behavior. Expanded aid produces more offspring, who in turn generate additional votes and greater influence. This sequence culminates in the end of white society as invaders envision it. Duping delight tracks each phase and serves as a visible timer for the invader's calendar of triumph. Halting duping delight demands that whites abandon the good person illusion entirely. Boundaries must be drawn and maintained at borders, in classrooms, and within homes. Smirks should be recorded, publicized, and labeled for what they are. Reality must replace virtue signaling as the guiding principle. Only when whites cease acting as willing marks will duping delight fade away. Duping delight stands as the unmistakable psychological emblem of immigrant ascendancy and white collapse. It arises from whites' relentless quest to be remembered as good through acts that achieve nothing but self-deception and national ruin. From the 2015 influx onward, every policy, donation, and welcoming gesture has fueled invader confidence while eroding white foundations. Immigrant families deploy this expression across generations to celebrate concessions and anticipate total victory. Whites who continue prioritizing image over survival ensure their own obliteration. The smirks will persist until whites reject the delusion, enforce limits, and confront the deception head-on. Failure to do so leaves duping delight as the final laugh in a story of self-inflicted defeat.